A successful day on the ground, just impressions of the game at Penn State.
You know what? Our guys went out. We wanted to be the most physical unit on the team while we were out there. Knew we were going to have some issues with the weather a little bit and the surface. Wanted to get the ball in our running backs' hands and be able to run the football, and it worked out for us. You know, our guys just battled every play, got a hat on a hat. Running backs, battled hard, blocked well in the perimeter. Probably the only thing was a little disappointing that we just didn't hit some of the special play action type of stuff. We had some really good stuff we thought dialed up and just weren't able to execute it at the level we needed to. But I think it still helped us in our running game.
Can I just ask the origin story of the big offensive line package? I mean, who brought that to the table and kind of how did that develop over the line?
That's just something that's been in Coach B's his repertoire in the past right there type of stuff, and brought it up and we put it in and kind of did our little spin on it there and made sure we had what we needed to be successful. You never know how somebody's going to line up there, but that's something he's done in the past.
What do you guys call it?
It's a barge personnel.
Barge personnel. What is the advantage? What advantage did you have? Because it felt like it kept going throughout the game. What does that help?
You know what? It just extends the gaps. I mean, it's you got a lot of linemen on the line of scrimmage. You extend those gaps out right there, and defenses have to figure out a way to line up to it and how they're going to line up to it and what they're going to do, and it's different. And you got some extra linemen in there. Kind of our kids had fun with it, and you have success with something there going a little bit, and you end up running it more than probably what you anticipated. But kids had a lot of fun. It worked out for us.
Obviously, some teams can make adjustments to that now, but do you feel like that's a part of what you guys can do moving forward, that package?
Oh, I think we could always do that moving forward. I mean, we could do something similar. We could change it up a little bit. I mean, that was fun out there. And like I said, we probably ran that more than what we anticipated, but we were having success with it. It was going well.
Tony, is there a difficulty when you're running a whole bunch of plays back-to-back from the 2-yard line in terms of what you can call in your playbook?
Backed up, you mean?
Well, when you're going for two.
Oh, you're talking about the overtime?
Yeah, is your playbook just?
You know what? It's a situation where you get into. You might carry two-point plays going into a game. Maybe you might have a third play that you're like, okay, if I really had to use this, I would. But all of a sudden, you get in a situation where you've got to run. I don't know, we ran 7 two-point plays or whatever it was. You got to start diving into some of your other plays, maybe some of your third medium type of calls. Anything that you got that you think gives you a chance right there, and all of a sudden you're scrambling in the call sheet, but you gotta find it. It's different. It's a different format right there. I kind of enjoy it rather than having the long drawn out overtime situations where you're driving the football. It's just like bang bang, rip the Band-Aid off and go. So I like it, but yeah, you got to find some more plays.
Tony, can I get your thoughts on Pearl at right tackle and Paucho at right guard, and then what you got out of Pilstrom when Velo had to go out?
Well, first off, I think Pilstrom came in. He's been like everybody this year. I mean, you look at that last play of the game. I think we had the quarterback that wasn't the starter in. We had an offensive line that wasn't the starter in. We had who else was in on that one?
He had Jakari at tailback.
We had Jakari tailback. I mean, we had 3 people in there weren't starters in the game on the last play of the game that we won the football game. So. With Coach B and with all of us, we're always a next guy up mentality. Those guys got to be ready. I think Pill came in and did a great job. With Paucho being at right guard and Pearl being at right tackle, that move was made because we think that better suits them for them to have more success, for us to have more success. And they'll only get better as they move forward at those positions, and I thought they did a great job.
Chase Brown has been spectacular so far. He continues to make history as he plays more and more games with the Illini. Can you talk a little bit about his impact on the season, especially against Penn State, and what you're expecting from him against Rutgers?
Well, he's just a solid all-around back. I mean, he's got good speed. He makes people miss. He does his job on every play. Whether it's pass protection or run game or whatever it is, he hits the hole the way he's supposed to. He presses line of scrimmage. Chase just does things the way you're supposed to. And then he's got a unique God-given ability out there, and he carries the football, makes people miss. I mean, he's a really, really, really good running back. And he's the kind of guy also that can carry it 20 to 30 times a game, and it doesn't affect him. He kind of keeps getting stronger as the game goes on. So it's great to have 2 backs out there that we feel like can handle the ball that much, especially when we do run the ball that amount of time. So I can't say enough good things about our running backs. And if you're going to talk about the running backs, you got to talk about the offensive line, the tight ends, and the job that they did on Saturday.
Coach, is there a 2-point play guru? Somebody out there that really knows how to do that well? something you've studied or something you know about
No,
over
I
the
mean,
years?
you know, a lot of people, 2-point plays are kind of like trick plays. Everybody steals them from everybody else.
Okay.
You know, you get on film, you look at different 2-point plays, you see something has success, you put it in, you put your own little wrinkle on it on a motion or a shift or whatever. You know, the last play of the game was actually a play we'd run. That was the third time we'd run in the game. So it's, you know, it's more about the execution than anything, but 2-point plays are kind of like trick plays. You know, you steal them from different people.
Coach, it's on to Rutgers this week. What have you seen from their defense on film?
You know what? They play hard. I mean, they play hard. They got a really good nose guard, number 50. They got an outstanding weak side linebacker, number 3. And then you just watch them up front on how hard and how physical they play. And it's going to be a challenge for us. And really, we've already moved on as of yesterday. So all we're working on right now is Rutgers, and you know, they've got a really good defense.
Second week in a row, you'll face a team that's coming off the open week. You expect maybe extra wrinkles there defensively?
From them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess anytime you got an open week, I guess you could always think they'll do something different, but, you know, they've got a defensive scheme that they use. They might have a little twist in it or something, but they're not just gonna change their defense. They're gonna play the defense that they play.
For Brandon to come in kind of cold there in those overtimes and make that play, what was that just kind of say about where he is, and what did you make of him stepping into that moment?
Well, it's kind of like we talk about Pilstrom and anybody else. It's the next guy up, and Art got injured and had to come out of the game, and I totally expected BP to come in and make those plays. I mean, that's what we expect out of our guys. We practice that way. We talk to him all the time about that, and we expect him to come in and make that play. And if he wouldn't have come in and make that play, then it's the next quarterback or whoever goes in next. So that's just, you know, I'm happy he made it. Obviously, it was awesome, but we expected that to happen.
Is Ryan Johnson the next quarterback?
Ryan Johnson would be the next guy up right now.
Tony, what's it mean for your group after some struggles this year to make the game-winning play at the end? What would that mean for your guys moving
Well,
forward?
I mean, you talking about for the offense?
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome because we've got 3 wins right now. We could have 6 wins right now. And I always look at it as me. We always look at it as us on offense. And we could have made a couple more plays at the end of a few games that could have changed the outcome right there. And we didn't. And so you got to go back and you got to learn from those and you got to keep pressing. But to be able to make the last play and walk off the field there with the victory was awesome. And I was fired up for our guys. I mean, the way they celebrated it was awesome. It was a great win, but now we got to move on. We got Rutgers next week.
What's a win like that give as far as your tool bag for walking into living rooms and recruiting kids? Obviously, it helps you a little bit, right?
Yeah, anytime you win a Big Ten game, and as many Big Ten games as you can win, it helps in recruiting. So, you know, there's a lot of great things. You know, Josh gives us these unbelievable facilities, all the stuff that we have to be able to bring kids in. But at the end of the day, you also still got to win football games. And when you beat a team like that on the road, in that type of atmosphere on national TV, it definitely helps in recruiting.
Tony, as a play caller, when you're getting 4 or 5 yards of carry and they're not stopping you, is there an experience level that needs to be achieved as an offensive coordinator to have that kind of discipline to go, let's do this again, don't scheme our way
Yeah,
into a punt?
I mean, I'm obviously the oldest guy in the staff, but it doesn't bother me at all to keep calling run plays for 4 and 5 yards. So if that happens in the future, in future games, and we can run the ball like we did on Saturday, we'll continue with those type of calls because that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it's awesome.
Tony, you've gotten Josh Kreutz and Zach Barlev on the field. What's it mean for them to get on the field, and what have you seen from them so far being true freshmen?
Well, they're 2 true freshmen that deserve to be out there. They've earned the right to be out there and practice. It was awesome to see them in there. Were they perfect? No, but they did some really good things out there, and to get them that experience was amazing, and it's going to help them not only for the rest of the season, but it'll be big time for them when all of a sudden down the road next year we need them to be players.
So I know we've talked a lot about Josh McCray, but I mean, don't see a lot of true freshmen really kind of break into the role that he has. Beyond his physical abilities, how's he done it? How's he kind of emerged?
Well, you know, we talked about it early in the year when he first started carrying the football. In camp, I didn't think Josh was going to be ready. You know, you get around freshman kids and you're just like, they're not ready. I mean, he's not ready. And we were about 2 weeks from camp being over, and all of a sudden I remember Brett coming up and telling me, he said, hey, you know, I think Josh is changing here. I think I thought about it. I'm like, you know, you're right. I mean, and we started looking at it a little bit more, and that's when we started getting him in there, and he had just the light went on for him, and he just kind of matured a little bit, and it was like, okay, I'm not going to be a freshman anymore. Even though he makes some freshman mistakes, he changed there a couple weeks before camp being over, and we felt like this is definitely someone who's going to be able to play as a freshman.
Cody, well, you mentioned that 2-point plays are kind of like trick plays. Was there ever a consideration to kind of go with like Wildcat with Isaiah, just to kind of add another wrinkle of, hey, he can run, he can throw, and just make it more difficult to defend?
I mean, that's always an option. That wasn't something we had available, you know, in the game right there. I mean, we could do it on the sideline. He's done it. He's always ready to do that. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do, two-point plays. You know, we tried to throw a ball to a quarterback. They tried to throw one to a quarterback. I mean, yeah, anything's possible out there, and you do about anything you can to get those 3 yards.
During the overtime, did you have a moment to think, this is pretty cool, or this is amazing, or the historical, or are you too into the moment to even think about that?
No, I'm not really enjoying it like that. No, I'm, you know, when you're out there, I mean, I'm locked in on what's the next play, what do I gotta do to do my job the best that I can do to give those kids the best chance to go out there and execute. So the second our play is over, it's, you know, are we up next, or are we waiting one, and what's gonna be the next call, and make sure we got the right personnel and the best call to give them the best chance.
Tony, we'll ask Brett about Art. Seems like he had a serious injury there. If Brandon is your quarterback, what do you want to see from him this week in practice?
You know, just the same thing we talk about with all the quarterbacks is make great decisions with the football, and then we just got to do a better job at the quarterback and the skill positions of making more plays, you know. And we had some really good opportunities in that game, and we could have thrown the ball a little bit better a couple times, but we also could have caught the ball better. And you make a couple of those plays, well, I really felt like we left 10 to 14 points out in the field on some big plays right there. And so that's kind of our next step right now in our passing game, because you're not going to score 30, 40 points a game without having some explosive touchdowns out there, and that's just what we got to do next.
You said Ryan's your backup now. If Art is out and Brandon's the starter, what have you seen from Ryan here in his time so far?
He's done a great job. I mean, he really got his biggest chance in the open week right there to practice. Came in and did an unbelievable job and was pushing right there, and we made the decision to go with Art last week, but Ryan was right there behind him. So it's a great situation to have 3 quarterbacks at one time that you feel like they could all go in and function well enough to help you win a football game.
Tony, you mentioned not hitting the special plays a little bit. How did Casey Washington maybe emerge as your de facto quarterback on those double reverses?
Well, he can throw the ball and he's left-handed, and that's the way the plays were going. So, you know, I mean, he's a receiver that can throw the football, and he's left-handed, so those plays that went to the left, we had designed for him, and, you know, we've got some receivers we feel like can throw the ball right-handed, and if we were going to go for the other way, that would be the calls we would get for them. So it's kind of on who can throw the football and throw a spiral and complete a pass, and then are they right-handed or left-handed.
Does having 2 former quarterbacks and wide receiver make you consider putting maybe more of those in, just because those guys have...
Yeah, I mean, we'll do anything we can to score some points right there. So, you know, we've got guys that play quarterback, throw the football. We got more than just those 2 guys that can throw the ball. So anything we can dial up, we think we can get a big play on, we'll do.
All good?
All good. Appreciate it.